What's up, guys? It's Dubzz, and I want to do a new kind of series. It's not like anything I've done before. So I found this website through my friend Joel, Killer Croza, and it's called CreepyPasta. Some of you probably have heard of it. It's where people can post stories that they've written, and I've been watching them. I've been reading them, and I really, really like them. So, I'm gonna just start a series where I sit down and I can read. I'll just read you guys stories, just a creepypasta every single time. So I'm gonna start with this first one. This one's called Beware the Dark Figure. Enjoy. Witness a man in his late 20s all alone in a two-story house on All Hallows Eve. The trick-or-treaters have long since gone, and now it's time for him to relax with a mug of warm milk and watch a horror film. As he sits in a comfortable chair in his basement in front of a large flat screen, he feels a sense of security from the outside world. But there is one thing what the heck? Oh. But yeah, guys, so I'm also going to make mistakes in this, so it's not going to be, like, perfect. This is going to be just one take. But there's one thing at this moment that he must be aware of. Me. My name is not important, and it certainly won't matter to my new friend. According to his ID that I've just discovered, his name is Josh. I'm currently hiding in Josh's bedroom upstairs. What am I doing in this particular house? Just having some fun, of course. Call me the Dark Figure, for I dress completely in black. I'm just an average guy you've probably seen on the bus heading to work in the big city. When I'm not busy with my 9-to-5 desk job or spending time with my girlfriend, I'm sneaking into people's houses for fun and games. There are no rules for the games that I play. I just like to make fun of them. I just like to make them as I go and be creative. I think I skipped a line. No. I choose my playmates based on one specific thing: unlocked doors. You'd be surprised how many people don't bother to lock their doors anymore. I've crept into many houses where the residents were busy watching a movie, just like this man Josh. You shouldn't... What the heck? This guy needs to learn how to type. You should have been... What is that word? Oh. You should have seen the locks. Come on, dude. You should have seen the looks on their faces. Anyway, you'd think on a night like Halloween that nobody would dare leave their front doors unlocked with all the crazies and costumes running wild. Luckily, Josh was thoughtful enough to do just that. Now I will have a happy Halloween. I brought along a toy for this occasion, my trusty pry bar that I stole years ago from my dad's garage. It's long, blunt, and sharp. It's also kind of a pain to carry around, but it's a rusted, menacing look that freaks the shit out of people, which amuses me. Oh, I also have a small bottle of a very toxic green chemical that I stole from a friend who is majoring in chemistry. To be honest, I have no idea what it does, but I'll know soon. Before my game starts, I think I'll help myself to some Halloween candy. I love the Snicker bars and Reese's. They bring me back to my childhood. The sound of the movie from downstairs is shaking the house, but then suddenly it stops. Perhaps my boots on the floor made too much noise. I should retreat back to the dark bedroom. Sure enough, Josh is making his way up the staircase right now, but he can't notice me if I remain in the shadows. He doesn't see me. I'm standing in the hallway right now, staring back at him, and he has no idea. Now he's going outside with a flashlight to investigate the noise I've been making. Perfect. Time to go to work. I wait till Josh is outside, searching around when I creep past the open door and proceed down to the dark basement, which is illuminated by the TV screen. There is a black and white horror film he has on pause. The DVD case says it's Maniac. How fitting. With no time to waste, I spot the mug of warm milk on a stand next to his comfy recliner. I put several drops of the chemical into the steaming liquid, then retreat into a spare downstairs bedroom at the end of the small hallway. Now I wait and listen. Getting excited, I hear the sound of Josh returning to his home and closing the door, followed by the sound of him descending the staircase. He sits back into his chair and unpauses the movie. Sounds of maniacal laughter fill the room. All I can hear next is the film's dialogue with classical music playing. Just then, I hear Josh's body thud to the ground, followed by a dragging noise. The chemical has made him too weak to stand, and he's crawling in agony to the nearest bathroom to try and puke it up. Lucky for me, the nearest bathroom is right across from the room I'm in. He's getting closer now. Time to strike. I step out of the shadows, and Josh is still crawling on the floor. I raise my pry bar, then impale him right through the head. Blood squirts out and splashes on my black mask. I pull my weapon out of his skull, then take it into the bathroom to wash the blood and brain matter off of it. Should I have tortured him some more first? Oh well. There will always be another victim. I take a seat on Josh's recliner and watch the rest of the movie before calling it a night and sneaking out the back door. I have to get up early tomorrow anyway for a meeting, but someday soon, I, the Dark Figure, will return. Remember, if you hear a strange noise at your door late at night, just tell yourself it's the wind. That way I can play with you. Slender's amusement. You tried to keep as quiet as possible, which was hard. All that running around made you tired. You breathed heavily. You didn't know whether to keep your flashlight on or off. None of the notes so far provided that information. You checked through them again. You didn't have a clue if you found them in order. But did it matter? What if it did? At first you thought you knew why he was after you. Your eyes, your lips, all the things he didn't have, you did. But soon you found out that you weren't the only one. Why didn't he take their facial features? And besides, he didn't even need them. You sat in the corner of a room, the notes spread out before you. There was a drawing, with just him and the tree surrounding him. You liked that one the most as it provided no information whatsoever. The less you knew, the safer you were. Sometimes you felt as if he did it for his own entertainment, as if he enjoyed it, but you got to know him more and more every time he appeared. Maybe he would have left you if you hadn't found the notes. At first, he only trailed behind you. The more you found out, the more he treated you as a threat. Your flashlight started to flicker, snapping you out of your thoughts. Did he find you? This hadn't happened before. Every time you were so close to being whatever it was he did. You knew so little about him, but he treated you as if you knew enough to be a threat. Curiosity killed the cat, after all. The light finally died out after what seemed like hours of flickering. You gathered all the notes and stuffed them in the pockets of your jacket. Standing up, you leaned on the wall. It would be easier to start running if he did find you that way. You hit the flashlight, trying to make it work. When it didn't, you indulged back into your thoughts. It didn't help to get rid of him, but it did calm you down. For a millisecond, the light flickered on. You kept staring at it as if that would make it work. It did. Your lips twitched to a smile. You felt less lonely in the night. Your eyes followed the beam it led them to the black tie. You were too scared to swipe the smile off your face. You had frozen. As your vision started blurring, you came back to your senses, running as fast as you could back the same way you'd ended up in that room. When you were finally outside, you turned to the door you'd come out to see if he was behind you. You sounded in relief that he wasn't. You walked as silently as you could, inspecting every tree for a note. You were in his territory. One of his names was the Tree Man. Every time your foot crunched a leaf, you looked back. Every single noise startled you, but you knew that it was silence you should fear the most. But you couldn't bring yourself to. You saw something white on a flat leaf. What? You saw something white on a fat, leafless tree. A note. You frowned. You didn't want to read it, but you had to. When you reached the tree, you took the piece of paper. Don't look, or he'll take you, it read. You stared at it. That's all you had to do. Not look at him, but then you realized he was right behind you. There was an urge to disobey, to turn around, and face your fear. You turned with your eyes closed, dying to open to analyze his blank face. You felt he was gone, that you weren't able to disobey anymore, and so your eyes fluttered open, but there he was. It was terrifying, yet you couldn't look away. It was unlike any other face you'd seen, but as every second passed, it all became less visible, the lines became less distinct, and then finally, you couldn't see, feel, touch, taste, or hear anything. Trauma. Ever since you were a child, you were terribly afraid of your bathroom. You don't know why, but whenever you would see your bathroom door during nighttime, you would be invaded by an overwhelming sensation of unease. You developed a habit of locking your bathroom door before going to sleep. You would never rest at ease until you closed and locked the door and whispered to yourself, "It's locked." You never understood your own fears, and as you grew up, though you still felt them, you began trying to overcome them, or at least ignore them as best as you could. Although the feeling lingers, you became bolder and bolder, and feel as if you could forget all about the seemingly unreasonable child trauma. You then decide to stop locking the door, rolling around in bed. You try to muster up the willpower necessary to not to look or think about the unsettling door. With some struggle, you finally fall asleep. You suddenly wake up in the middle of the night. The first thing you realize is that you are not in bed anymore. You lie in a hard and cold tile floor, surrounded by nothing but darkness and silence. You try to feel around yourself. When your hand touches the bathtub, your bathtub, you freeze. Your heart starts pacing while, in panic, you try to hear any sound indicating the presence of anything else in that bathroom. You can't hear anything over the sound of your own panicked breath, and the thought that something could hear your breathing instead only deepens your despair. Barely being able to hold yourself together, you rush for the door as fast as you can. As you try to turn the handle, you realize your mistake. Your heart stops. It's locked. Suddenly, you hear someone else breathing. coming from behind your back.